It's been a very long day. Like, exceptionally long. I had a doctor's appointment. It actually went really well, but I just found out that I have to get Botox as the next step in nothing has worked so far treatment. It's a lot of injections into my head. Like a lot. And that has to happen every couple months. And they're like, it could take up to 3 sessions for it to kick in. So that's 9 months. Could be up to 9 months before we know that it works. Cool. But I was out of my house for the first time in probably 4 to 6 months, and I got to go to the store, which doesn't sound like much to most people, but for me, that was a big day. I went to the grocery store, and I think there were like 3 people in masks, and I went to the candy store, and there was just the 2 of us in masks, and then we got Thai food to take home. Well, I mean, there was a picnic table outside, so ate a little bit there, and then I took the rest home. And I still have some more for tomorrow, even though I ate it for like, technically that was breakfast and dinner. And then things started getting worse around here, and some stuff happened that it's not my business to talk about. And yeah, so it is now like after 1 o'clock, and I just got home. My track record of not being able to make my way home from a certain place in the amount of time that it should, if I just use the GPS, my streak continues. So I thought I would tell you that I read all 3 spoiler alert books by Olivia Dade, and they were excellent. I had a really good time. They are fluffy, fun, and I was just really happy to have something that I could just read and enjoy and know that I was going to enjoy it. So like I got the 3rd one through NetGalley, and I thought, oh, well, this will be good because, like, you know, romances are all, you know, easy reads, and if it's a 3rd in a series, that's not a big deal. But then I like read it, and it turns out that all 3 books go concurrently-ish. So, oops. Not that I feel like there was really anything that was too shocking by reading it out of order. So, in fact, if anything, it made me like more intrigued for each book, so it was fine. So I read them 3, 1, 2, and I did the thing where I read the 3rd book and was like, oh, I need to read the 1st book now. Found out that it was on Hoopla. Wanted to look at the cover. Didn't want to go back out of the book to look at a little version of the cover. Went to Amazon to look at a slightly bigger version of the cover. I don't know why I didn't just Google it. But I went to Amazon. Found out that I already had the book. It must have been free or on sale or something for like 99 cents, because I don't just buy books out of nowhere, or like someone must have given it away or something, because I don't just buy books by authors that I've never read before, and I've never read her before. So it must have been on like super sale, and I must have either picked it up, or I must have somebody must have given it away because they were like, oh, I love this author. Because sometimes I find those giveaways on like Twitter and stuff. And yeah, so I already had it. But I finished reading it on Hoopla because I didn't want them to think that I wasn't reading it. And then I found the second one on Libby, which is another library app. And I read that. So, but yeah. So I'm using the Book Riot reading log. And I'm logging every book that I purchase or win or acquire this year. And I have to tell you, this will not ever happen again, because tracking my books, like what's coming in, is making me really happy. I have had 36 or so books come in this year, and mostly through I bought a bunch of books with Christmas money, and the bookstore was closed at Christmas, so I ended up buying them in the new year. So I put them all on that list, and some of them were like pre-orders. Anyway, so I spent that Christmas money that I got on books because I wanted to support all these authors that I had been reading on like Twitter, and so I even bought a couple, like one or two authors I had never even read before, because it wasn't my money, basically. And then I won a book on Twitter in like a drawing. And then I found someone on Twitter who gave away books. He just like will see that somebody has a book on sale and he'll just like buy like 5 copies and give them away. And then if I knew how to spell his handle off the top of my head, I would tell you right now. But he's really nice. His name's Sean, I think. And so I started following him because he also puts up cat pictures. And he really likes Leverage, which I love having somebody on my Twitter who likes Leverage as much as I do. And then I like won another book or something. And so it just like started piling up. And then I pre-ordered a book for my roommate for her birthday. And so I put that on there to remind myself to pick it up. I mean, I'll get an email from the bookstore, but just in case. And yeah, and then like the Tor does the publishing company Tor does like a ebook club where it's not every month, but sometimes it feels like every month, and then suddenly it like disappeared for a while. But they give out ebooks of like novellas and sometimes novels, and sometimes like once they did like an entire series, but like every single day you had to download it. You only had 24 hours. So I do those, like, and it adds up. I'm at like 36 books in June. And then I think I ended up like spending maybe $5 on like Amazon sales myself. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Like, but out of all those books, I've read 5. No, 6 or 7 now. Vault Comics is giving away a different book every single week of Pride. So I've been reading those, and Heathen was amazing. Like the other ones I like, but Heathen was amazing. Yeah, I mean, like you can find free books without downloading them and stealing them from the author. Like you can find free books in a lot of places. It's really cool. But like what I won't do is download a book and find out that I have it anymore. And I think that my next thing after this is that I will be cataloging all the books that I own, because I have them over all these different formats. And like sometimes I'll have a galley that comes from somewhere and I'll think it's in like a timed galley, you know, like it'll disappear as soon as the book drops, but then it turned out I actually own it. It didn't disappear at all. Anyway, but yeah, no. So that was a nice surprise. And those are fun books. They're like all about these actors who are on this like Game of Thrones-esque show, and them finding love. And what I really like about the series is that like the body diversity in it, like all the leads, all the women are fat, and but they're fat in different ways, which I really appreciate. It's not just like one kind of body. It's all three women have three very different bodies, and I really, really like that. And all of the guys are very different, like incredibly different people, and I like each one of them. I can't even say that I have a favorite book. They're each so interesting. I thought I would have a favorite. I definitely think one book felt like it flowed better than the rest, but I don't know if that's true or if I just read it first. But I'll tell you, I've really enjoyed the third book. I mean, it made me read two others. So that was good. I always like finding a new romance author who doesn't make me feel awful about romance as a genre. But now there's no more of those books. I know she wrote other stuff. I'll go look them up, I will. But I have 11 books in my net galley queue. I always have 11 books in my net galley queue now. It's like when I read one, in pops another. So I guess I should be reading something else. I was reading my book club book. It took forever. It was about like a superstorm that came because of climate change, and how everybody was like prepping for it and getting paranoid about it and going full blown paranoid, anti-government, whatever. And I was just like, this is just, why did I choose to read this for my book club? Because we can choose the books that we read this year, because we're just reading stuff off our own shelves to like get to it. I knew it was just going to give me like pandemic feelings, and it did. But it's done now. And I don't have to worry about next month. I can just focus on the NetGalley books and finishing the stuff that I'm writing, which includes reading a bunch of books. I can just do all that. Okay. I need to wrap this up before my melatonin kicks in. So my eyes look sleepier than when I started, right? Maybe tomorrow will be a little better. Well, today it was nice, most of it. I know that those are flowers behind my head, but they look like some sort of flamingo from here. They're just flowers. It just looks really weird.